If this is your first time in Cancun, stay with me until the end of this video because these 8 things may save you a lot of time and money. So let's jump right into it. Number 8, you're going to get scammed. Get over it. Get over it. You're going to get scammed. Before I went to Cancun, I have seen a ton of videos, guides, blogs, everything possible. I did my research online and I was aware of the common traps and scams. I knew about the airport and how they overcharge about taxes and everything. I had done my research, okay? But guess what? By the time I stepped foot in Cancun, I got scammed. Although I knew everything about scams, I thought I was very aware of what's going on in Cancun. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's your vacation. I didn't let that ruin my vacation. I wanted to have a good time. So keep that in mind, that if you get scammed, don't let this ruin your vacation. And you know something? Because everybody's talking about the scams in Mexico, especially in Cancun and Tulum. People have that in the back of their heads, I don't want to get scammed. I don't want to get scammed. How can I avoid getting scammed? This is in your mind 24/7 when you go to Mexico for the first time. But it's like the law of attraction. That thing that you don't want to happen to you, at the end of the day, you attract it because you keep thinking about that. So just let it go. If you get scammed, nothing happened. You just lost some money. It's a luxury vacation at the end of the day. It's Cancun. Just let it go. Get over it. Probably not the best advice you would like to hear because people trying to warn you how to not get scammed. I'm here to warn you that you will get scammed, but you have to get over it. The next thing I wish I knew is that Zona Hotelera and Cancun downtown is like 2 different cities, like 2 different planets. They're totally different. So if you want to spend your time in both cities or areas or whatever, you have to think wisely. What do you want? What do you want out of this vacation? Do you want beaches? Do you want a 5-star all-inclusive hotel? Do you want luxury travel? Or do you want to integrate with the population to get to know how people live, to try local food and other stuff? It all depends on what you're looking for. But keep in mind that there are 2 different areas, 2 completely different areas. Most Americans and most tourists prefer Zona Hotelera because this is where everything is going on. All the day parties, the day clubs, the big hotels, the clubs, the restaurants, everything is there. And I think it's safer there. And that's the touristy area. But I saw a lot of tourists in downtown as well. But it depends on what your vibe is. The next thing I wish I knew, because during the first couple of days, I spent a lot of money on taxis, and you don't need taxis. You don't need to use taxis. There is a public bus that runs throughout Zona Hotelera, and the buses are very frequent. And guess what? If you take a taxi from the bar straight, if your hotel is somewhere nearby the bar straight, to go anywhere to Zona Hotelera, it will cost you about $25 to $30. But for the same route, if you take the bus, it will cost less than $1. So the first night when I arrived in Cancun, I didn't know about the bus. I didn't know where I should take the bus from. So I just took a taxi that was outside the hotel. So I paid $25 to go to the restaurant and then $25 to get back from the restaurant. I think actually it was a bit more expensive. Yeah, the way back it was 28 or 30. If I'm not mistaken. But in any case, I paid more than $50 for the transportation just for one night, where if I had taken the bus, I would have paid less than $2. So yes, the buses are not air conditioned, they're not very new and modern, but they do the job. They get you to your destination. The next thing I wish I knew is about rain. And it doesn't rain often in Cancun. You will find sunny days most of the time. Your vacation is going to be sunny, full of sunny days. However, when it rains, if it rains, you're screwed. During my vacation in Cancun, it only rained for a day, and not the whole day, just for 2 to 4 hours. And guys, I've never seen anything like that before. The sewage system sucks in Cancun. If you would like to cross a strait Like you would have to swim. I'm not overreacting. I'm not kidding. Like the water was up to your knee. So if you wanted to go out, that would be a struggle if it rains. So yeah, that's the second time I actually used a taxi to go out at night because I couldn't walk anywhere. So I had to call the taxi to pick me up right outside the hotel because I couldn't go anywhere. Even if you're wearing boots, it's going to be a struggle. Every time it rains in Cancun, the streets are flooded with water. I don't know why that is, but you have to be careful and always look at the weather prediction. The next one is about the rates. Expect to find American rates and not Mexican rates. Cancun is not like the rest cities of Mexico. It has nothing to do. It's not a Mexican city. I felt like the whole time I was in an American city. The rates are American. Expect to pay a lot when you go to a fancy dinner show or a restaurant or a club or anywhere you go. You will find American rates. It's Cancun. So the next one is that the tip in restaurants and bars is demanded. And not always that, which is kind of normal in my opinion. That's my opinion because I always tip. I won't tip like if the service was very rude or unacceptable. But in Cancun, not only the staff demands to get tipped, but they demand a certain percentage. That really blew my mind because I was at Ilios restaurant, which is one of the best restaurants in Cancun with a fancy show and decent food. And I say decent because my experience was not the best because I had a platter with some seafood and it smelled really badly. Like, I'm not even kidding. I couldn't eat any of this food. It was terrible. The food was horrible. I couldn't eat it. And of course, I was charged an arm and a leg because I was at Ilios, which I get it. Okay, you can have crappy food. I'm here for the show and for the vibe and to party. Okay, give me crappy food. I'm gonna pay an arm and a leg for it. Of course, I'm gonna tip again. But when the bill came, I wanted to tip at 10%. But the waiter was like, oh no, you're not allowed to tip that. It's a minimum 15%. He demanded a certain percentage. Not only he demanded the tip, which I get. Some people would be angry with that because you can't demand a tip in Mexico. It's illegal. But I get it because I was at Helios. Yeah, my stomach was empty because I didn't eat, but I didn't care because I had a good time. But to demand a certain percentage, like the minimum was 15%, that was outrageous. But you know what? I had a good time and I did that. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to ruin my vacation. And they count on that. That's why they do it, because you're on vacation and you're not going to argue for that because you don't want to ruin your night. You're having a good time and you're going to pay whatever they tell you. That was not cool though, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, of course, you should always tip, especially there, because the wages are lower. But to demand that in such a way and demand a certain percentage, that was kind of off for me. So the next one is about the nightlife and the party life. So the party life isn't that insane. Yes, it has a bar straight and a lot of dinner shows, but it's not that crazy party scene that you see in Europe or in other places. It depends on what you're looking for and what you're used to. I mean, it has a bar straight, but pretty much all the bars and clubs were pretty much the same. Except for Coco Bongo, which had a different kind of vibe and a whole show, which is worth it. All the other bars were just bars, like nothing special about it. Like, because you hear Cancun and all the crazy nightlife and everything is going on. But for me, because I have been traveling the world for 15 years and I have been party traveling the world, I don't go for monuments, I don't go for history. I go for partying. I've been to every party destination in the world. So I can say that Cancun was not as insane. The party life in Cancun was decent, but not that insane as in other places. And the next one is what to do during the day. I found that there wasn't much to do during the day. There were not too many day parties. There is one day party, again at Coco Bongo's, which is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. The shows, everything was amazing there. There was a foam party. The pool, the vibes, the dancers, the show, everything was amazing. But I think apart from that day party, there were two more day parties and they were pretty dead. Like the first one, I think it was in the bar next to Cacobongos, which was dead. And there was another one that was taking place at a 5-star hotel, but that was dead as well. So yeah, apart from Cacobongos, there's not much to do during the day. So these were the 8 things I wish I knew before going to Cancun. Let me know your things, what you would like to know before going to Cancun, and I will see you in the next video.